Alright, let's pause right there. You have seen the video, no filters, no edits, no propaganda. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on a state visit to Turkey, stumbling during a ceremonial march past beside President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Now, before the defenders warm up their keyboards, relax. This is not mockery. This is not hatred. This is not wishing anyone bad. This is a conversation Nigeria keeps running away from because leadership is not just about speeches, it is not just about titles, it is not just about power. Leadership is presence, leadership is capacity, leadership is readiness, and when the entire world is watching, every detail matters. Now, let me be very clear. Human beings stumble, people trip, people lose balance, but presidents do not exist in a vacuum. A president represents over 200 million people. Their strength, their stability, their future, and their credibility on the world stage. So when something like this happens during a formal military ceremony in front of another head of state with camera rolling, it becomes symbolic, whether we like it or not. Politics is perception, diplomacy is optics, power is image, and Nigeria image is already on life support. So this incident did not happen in a market. It did not happen in private. It happened during a state visit in Ankara with Turkey President standing firm beside him. Look at Erdogan standing straight, composed, alert. Then look at Tinubu. That contrast alone tells a story Nigerians are tired of pretending not to see. Now let's talk about optics because some people pretend optics doesn't matter. Why do world leaders train physically? Why do they rehearse ceremonies? Why do they control their public appearances carefully? Because weak optics invite weak respect. This is not cruelty. This is global politics 101. America understands it. China understands it. Russia understands it. Even smaller African nations understand it. But in Nigeria, we are told to close our eyes, shut our mouths, and clap for anything. Now, here is the painful truth. Nigeria is not angry because Tinubu missed a step. Nigeria is angry because everything else is missing steps. The economy is tumbling, the naira is crawling, security is collapsing, food prices are sprinting beyond human reach. So when the president stumbles physically, it becomes a mirror of nation already off balance. That's why the video went viral, not because Nigerians are wicked, but because Nigerians are exhausted. And instead of leaders addressing the real fear in people's hearts, we get the usual script. He is strong, he's sharp, he's working day and night, he only missed a step. Okay, but are Nigerians missing step too, or are we falling completely? Now let's talk about health and transparency because this is where emotions run high. In serious countries, leaders address concerns openly, medical reports are published, limitations are acknowledged, power is structured around capacity. In Nigeria, we gaslight the people, ask questions and you are called a hater, raise concern and you are labeled unpatriotic, demand accountability and you are accused of sabotage. No, patriotism is not silence. Patriotism is demanding better. So this Turkey trip we are told is about security, education, innovation, aviation, trade, investments. Beautiful words, right? But Nigerians are asking simpler question. How does this reflect in my daily life? Because MOUs don't feed families, photo ops don't stop kidnappings, handshakes don't stabilize currencies. Let's be honest, Nigeria has signed hundreds of MOUs over decades. Where are the results? Where are the factories? Where are the jobs? Where is the security? We keep flying presidents around the world while citizens can't afford transport within their own cities. And look at the entourage, ministers, security chiefs, intelligence heads, all of them following a president Nigerians barely see addressing them directly with empathy, clarity, and urgency. This is not about age. This is not about tribe. This is not about party. This is about capacity matching responsibility. When leadership becomes ceremonial, the country becomes fragile. When governors turn into symbolism, citizens pay the price, and Nigerians are paying heavily. So no, this video is not the issue. The issue is what the video represents: a country struggling for balance, a leadership class disconnected from reality, a political culture that pushes questions instead of answering them. So if this conversation makes you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the beginning of awareness. because Nigeria does not need another denial circle. Nigeria needs the truth, raw, direct, and unapologetic. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture, because this visit to Turkey did not happen in isolation. This is not just about one stumble, this is about contrast. Standing next to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is not just standing next to another man, it is standing next to a system, a state, and a leader who understands power optics. Erdogan understands something Nigerian leaders often ignore. Strength must be visible. Look at Turkey today. Whether you like Erdogan or not, one thing is clear. Turkey projects authority, strong military posture, clear national interest, assertive foreign policy, confidence on the world stage. Now compare that with Nigeria, a country with massive population, massive resources, massive potential, yet constantly begging for respect. Respect is not begged for, respect is commanded. When Nigeria's president appears fragile on the global stage, it weakens negotiation power. Foreign leaders don't just listen to words, they read energy, they read posture, they read confidence. Global politics is ruthless. No one says, oh sorry, he's tired. They say, can this leader deliver on agreements? That's the harsh truth. Let's talk about the Turkey-Nigeria relationship itself. We are told this visit deepen cooperation in finance, communication, trade, investment, military collaboration. Sounds impressive, right? But Nigerians have heard this soundtrack before. China, France, UK, UAE, Saudi Arabia, trips upon trips, this upon this, announcement upon announcements. Now, here is the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask. Are these trips about Nigeria or about appearances? Because governance is not tourism, diplomacy is not vacation, leadership is not flying around while the house is on fire. Now, let's talk about the media response, because this is where things get insulting. Instead of honest engagement, we get damage control. Oh, he only missed a step. Stop exaggerating. You people are wicked. You hate the president. No. Nigerians hate suffering. Nigerians hate arrogance. Nigerians hate being treated like children who cannot think. You don't fix a national image problem by pretending nothing happened. You fix it by transparency, reassurance, demonstrated competence, not propaganda. Let me be very honest here. If this same video were from a local governor, a minister, an opposition figure, the same people shouting leave him alone would be the one mocking non-stop. So spare us the hypocrisy. What Nigerians are reacting to is not the stumble. They are reacting to rising hunger, insecurity, unemployment, hopelessness. The video simply becomes the spark. So when leaders refuse to read the mood of the people, they invite backlash. And right now, Nigerians are angry, tired, and deeply frustrated, not because they enjoy criticism, but because the silence has brought nothing but pain. This is why comparison with Erdogan matters. In Turkey, the leader projects control. In Nigeria, leadership projects confusion, and perception becomes reality in international politics. You cannot preach renewed hope while citizens feel renewed despair. You cannot talk about innovation while people can't innovate their way out of hunger. You cannot talk about security partnership while bandits control highways. And at some point, symbolism collapses, photo ops fade, handshakes end, cameras turn off, and reality remains. Nigeria does not need more ceremonial dignity. Nigeria needs functional leadership, not tomorrow, not next year, now. And the longer leaders refuse to accept criticism as feedback, the louder backlash will become. History is unforgiving. Let me say this slowly and clearly. Nigeria's problem is not a stumble in Turkey. Nigeria's problem is leadership deficit, a deficit of urgency, a deficit of empathy, a deficit of connection to reality. So when citizens cannot eat, symbolism feels like an insult. When parents cannot feed children, speeches feels like mockery. When graduates roam the streets jobless, foreign trips feel disconnected. Leadership is sacrifice. If leadership becomes a burden on the people instead of protection, then something is broken and Nigerians know it. This is why shouting respect the office no longer works. Respect is earned through results, and right now, results are scarce. Nigeria needs leaders who can speak clearly, act decisively, show strength, accept limitations, not leaders surrounded by enablers and praise singers. So let me be clear to supporters of this government. Criticism is not sabotage. Questions are not treason. Concern is not hatred. Blind loyalty is what destroy nations. So every country survives because citizens speak up when leadership driven. Silence is not peace. Silence is decay. The world is watching Nigeria, not laughing, watching. And the image we project matters for investment, security partnerships, diplomatic respect. Weak leadership images weaken national leverage. This is not about wishing anyone harm. This is about wishing Nigeria competence. So, at some point, Nigerians must stop normalizing dysfunction. We deserve leadership that reflects strength, clarity, and direction. History will not remember excuses, it will remember outcomes. And to those in power who think time will cover everything, it won't. The internet does not forget. The people do not forget. History does not forget. Nigeria stand at a crossroads. Continue pretending everything is fine or confront reality. So this video from Turkey will fade, but the question it raised will not. The real question is not why did it stumble? The real question is where is Nigeria heading? Because nations don't collapse overnight. They collapse slowly while leaders insist everything is under control. Nigeria deserves better than denial. Nigeria deserves leadership that can stand firm physically, mentally, and structurally. If that truth hurts, then it's doing its job.